Hello you, and welcome to the last Daily Rundown of the week with me, Dan Morfitt. Thank you for watching Channel 7. The Daily Rundown is the show where we look at all of the day's big stories and some of the little ones too. Tonight we'll be discussing the loss of one of Westminster's brightest MPs. But first, let's welcome tonight's guests who will supply the Daily Rundown with their insights and opinion. She's an economic researcher on UK, India, Bangladesh and the EU, an active Green and someone who's just come back off holiday. Welcome back to Wendy Olsen.
Hi Dan.
Hello. And making his debut on the Daily Rundown, stand-up, school teacher and bearded man, Rob Mitchell.
That's me, hello.
Thank you for coming. And you can get involved with the show too. We're as interactive as you can get. You can join in the conversation on Twitter at The Daily Rundown, or at the very least, give us a follow. We might even follow you back. Our first story tonight is a shocking one. The nation is in mourning after Labour MP Jo Cox was murdered in her constituency of Birstall, West Yorkshire. The 41-year-old mum of two has been hailed as a wonderful and lovely person and a rising star in the Labour Party. The MP was shot and stabbed close to her advice surgery in Birstall around 12:53 this Thursday afternoon. She was known for her passion for world affairs, and her death has led to an outpouring of emotional tributes from friends and colleagues. The Leave and Remain EU camps have suspended their campaigns for the day as a mark of respect. Now, this is a truly shocking story, and none of us could ever have imagined that we would be talking about it tonight. Something this horrendous. We did have another show planned, but the events of the day has really taken us aback. What do you think of the murder of Jo Cox?
Well, I think that tonight's show should be a tribute to Jo Cox. We're so proud that she was an MP, proud that she was a mother of two children, and that she fought for the rights of Syrian people who migrate to this country and others to look for refuge. So I believe in a sanctuary system, and refugees should have rights because they wouldn't leave Syria unless they really had to. And she's cared about these strangers.
And of course
Wonderful.
She was the chair of the cross-party group for Friends for Syria. And she's well known for the work that she's done, even in such a short time that she's been in office.
Yeah.
Rob, what do you think of this shocking news?
Oh, it's absolutely shocking, isn't it? Terrible. When I got home from work and I had an email and wondered what was going on, put the TV on, and it was all over the television, and it's just absolutely shocking. It just seems so pointless as well. You know, what does it achieve? Unbelievable.
When you see a gun crime, you have to realise, you know, the person holding the gun's been probably fantasising about that gun. And I don't like to speculate on this particular one, but I think that it is a gun crime. We know that for sure. There was a knife as well. And it's, you know, we need to look at what are the conditions in the society that cause this sort of thing to happen from time to time.
We do have to say as well, from one source, but it is at the moment only one source, that the attacker actually shouted Britain first during the event. Britain First is a right-wing organisation. They have said that they have no claim with him, they have no affiliation with him, and what happened today, they're as horrified as everybody else.
I hope they are. Yeah, that's great to hear, because the gossip on Facebook is about someone who has the same name as the accused, and that person has been a member of some very right-wing white supremacist groups. Apparently, after apartheid was ended in South Africa, there were some people who thought that we should continue to have apartheid or go back to it. And these are the very right-wing white supremacists. So I hope that's a false rumour, but I'm worried that that's the kind of attacker it might have been.
Well, at the moment, it is an ongoing police investigation, and West Yorkshire Police are on it. Now, Jo Cox has only been an MP for just over a year now, and she's got an over 6,000 majority in the seat where she was born. She's a Yorkshire lass and proud of that. Before going into Parliament, she spent a life working for charities like Oxfam and NSPCC. Looking at the biography of her, she seems to be a person that's always worked for others. She went to Cambridge University from West Yorkshire down there, and she said it was a completely alien, different world where she saw how people treated her differently because she was northern, because she was a woman. She fought against all of that, and she's lived such a bright, sharp life.
Yeah, it's a lot to cope with. I went to Oxford, and it's quite a challenge. You've got people from these, you know, flash schools that you sort of feel like you're competing with, and it's a very competitive environment as well. But by the looks of it, over the past year, she's done an amazing job and just really been a success. And it's a great role model for young people, have a woman in Parliament like that. And
I think she said, and I quote, going into Parliament is a piece of cake compared to the days at Cambridge for her. a mother of two as well. This must be shocking for her friends and her family.
Yeah, well, that's what, you know, this guy, whatever reason he kind of justifies, there is no reason, you know. All he's achieved, he's robbed the two young girls of, you know, their mother forever now, you know, and all the good that she was doing. It just stops. It's just not achieved anything.
It's shocking.
At all,
I think we're all in shock, aren't we? It's hard to come to grips with death.
Yeah, but preparing for the Daily Rundown today, we do it every day, and we talk about the stories. And as this unfolded in West Yorkshire and Birstall, we were just horrified. And it's, you know, apologies if the show is a shambling wreck tonight, because you can't comprehend this type of thing. And we try and look at this as a news story. We try and detach ourselves from it, but it's difficult to not detach yourself from such senseless violence on the streets of the UK.
No,
to someone who's a member of Parliament.
We have to appreciate some people haven't had a chance to see the news or hear about it. So, you know, with regret, I have to say that there was a fight in the street, and then she joined in and got hit, and then was stabbed after that. I mean, it's just a terrible story, really.
And Jo Cox is the first member of the House of Commons to be murdered in office since 1990, and that was during the days of the Troubles in Northern Ireland. Looking at this, the questions are going to be asked, because she was just outside of her surgery. Her constituents, where they can see her freely and openly. There's going to be questions asked about access to MPs now, but they're members of the House of Commons. They're us. We are them. They are us. That's the whole point about democracy.
Yeah, there's quite a firm set of laws on this. You know, that if anybody was on the internet, suppose they were inciting hatred, that's against the law. And if they were using a gun and threatening someone with the gun, that's against the law. You know, so there's quite a firm set of laws that surround this. And I think that it's just a crime. I'm not, you know, we can't be sure, but from the looks of it, it's an isolated crime.
From a very possibly sick individual.
Possibly sick. I mean,
when we say sick,
certainly.
I don't just mean in one way. I mean possibly mentally ill. For any action like this to happen.
That's why we have to be very careful what we say about it, and just keep it nice and slow. And our thoughts really go out to the family and friends and the people that have lost their MP, and all the constituents that would have respected her work so much.
I don't want to hold her up as something unique or someone different, but for a person to be a member of Parliament for the place that she was born and raised in is quite a special and a bit strange thing nowadays, because a lot of people are just parachuted into safe seats or put into seats that could start their political career. She actually went back to the place she was raised. She was a very, very proud Yorkshire lass, and for her to represent the people that she came from, it was her life.
And of course, she came in the same year that Corbyn was nominated and elected as the leader of the party.
Well, on that, she was one of the people that actually put in the nomination for Jeremy Corbyn so he could stand. On another level, though, she said after the last performance at the council elections that he had questions to answer. So, you know, even in a small time that she was in Westminster, she actually had made massive ripples. She talked of tolerance, of love, of pride in her constituency being full of immigration, from the Irish Catholics to Muslims from Kashmir. She was very proud that even though all these people had come from different places around the world, they called Birstall their home. And it's such a shame.
I'd never really heard of her before, like a lot of people probably. I didn't know too much. It was only, you know, this evening I've been watching TV and reading a bit about it. You realise, wow, you know, what a fantastic, passionate woman she was, and everything she did was for the good of people, you know, wherever they were from or whatever they were, even before she was in politics. You know, what an absolutely fantastic woman, and what a great job she was doing, and just kind of getting on with it, you know, and you wonder what future she would have had in politics, because she seemed to be doing absolutely fantastic and was so young and so new to it.
Some people say, I don't know whether it's true or not, but some people say that when boys are raised, some boys are raised to be a little bit more on the selfish side and play games and be competitive, and if somebody gets hurt in the meantime, not to care so much. You see someone like her, and yes, a woman, And myself, I feel that I'm this way, that I care about people. If they get hurt, you know, by the by, it still matters. You know, I can't just put my game as the first thing. I've got to look at the balance of everything. And when we do that, we get involved in overseas issues and you know, international relations. It's really hard because then you're supposed to know about every country, Afghanistan and Croatia, and you know, places that are really obscure. And she did it.
She was very learned, very well read. It's the maxim is that if you really want to go into politics, those are the type of people that shouldn't be politicians.
Whose maxim is that?
It's a well-worn maxim.
We need a public service full of people like her.
But again, yeah, we do need that. You know, she went to Cambridge. She graduated highly and with honours. She's the type of person that could have gone to London and earned millions. Yeah. But she worked for the NSPCC, Save the Children, Oxfam. And then she went into Parliament in the community that she knew and loved. That's true sacrifice of spirit and determination. Out of respect as well, it's really, really good to see both sides of the EU debates, the Leave and Remain, have suspended their campaign because the last thing that she did campaign was actually yesterday. She was part of the flotilla that went down the Thames as part of the Remain campaign. She was helming one of the boats. So it seems it's such tragedy that yesterday we saw her so full of life and vim and campaigning to today working as they normally do at the end of the week, back in their constituencies and back in a surgery and seeing what's happened.
Yeah, I mean, there were 4 major politicians that were all going to do presentations and speeches tonight, Gove and Farage and the others, and they all, I think they all just felt that, well, there's no way that we're going to be able to concentrate and relax, and they wanted to spend time with their families. And I mean, they will be feeling this question, you know, is there a higher level of risk? I personally think that the level of risk hasn't risen generally. This is a crime. It's a terrible, terrible crime. But let's hope it's an isolated incident.
Yeah. Let's hope it is a one-off. Thinking about that as well, it takes us beyond things of a political nature, of a human nature. And husband, Brendan Cox, has given a statement, and it reads like this. Jo believed in a better world, and she fought for it every day of her life with an energy and a zest for life that would exhaust most people. She would have wanted 2 things above all else to happen now. 1, that her precious children are bathed in love, and 2, that we all unite to fight against the hatred that killed her. Hate doesn't have a creed, race or religion. It is poisonous.